Hey guys, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi show with Peter Yu. Peter's in Korea eating kimchi right now, so Greg is actually producing it. He's my guest today. Greg is the guy behind the scenes for YouTube. He's also a judo black belt, one of my guys. Unbelievable footwork. I've been trying to get him to start a YouTube channel to show technique as well. I don't know why he hasn't done it yet.
Right? All a good time.
Yeah. Greg Reagan, right?
Yeah.
President Reagan does Dayashi. That's an idea.
The man, the myth, Shintaro Higashi.
Yeah. So we're here with Greg. We're going to talk a little bit today about the YouTube stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tell me more how you came about the stuff and
So, I mean, we, like a lot of people in the judo community, I'd say like 90% of them start out watching your YouTube that you started doing way back in like 2015, right? You had one big video cutting weight. Right?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing.
Yeah,
you did, yeah.
And that blew up. It's still gaining views.
Yeah.
But then you made 5 basic judo techniques that everyone should know.
Yeah.
And that still, to this day, gets 3,000, 4,000 views a month.
Yeah, it's
like,
still, it's going.
crazy.
It's like 3 million views right now.
It's like if you search Google and basic judo, this guy's face shows up, and it's you and Peter, and it's like you got the long flowing hair, you got the look. It's like people tune in, 2 minutes, in and out. So I was working construction before this, but I've had a lot of video production background. I have a comedy background. So like timing and like education and funny stuff is kind of what I do. So when we started making the videos, I was like, oh, how do we make this a bit more abbreviated, a bit shorter, and more to the point? And I think we've gained at least 70,000 followers since like a year ago, which has been really
YouTube,
nice.
Right? On
yeah,
YouTube.
for you. And I mean, we've gotten so many visitors into the dojo, saying that they watch it like all over the world. Yeah, and
it's a double-edged sword though, right? Because you never know who's gonna come in through those doors.
Yeah,
sometimes
some random
like
people.
5 guests, and you're like, oh man, like you gotta get rid of these people.
Exactly, you gotta wash all the gis afterwards.
You gotta wash all the gis if they don't bring their own gis. That's definitely.
So, but like in like it's so funny to live in the judo world where a huge majority of the U.S. population doesn't even know about the sport.
That's very true.
And then
very niche.
Very niche. Yeah. And I go basically from the dojo where I teach the kids and I train, and then I go back and I edit these videos, and I kind of live in my 2 bubbles. And then we go to like a judo competition or something, and you are like the biggest celebrity that ever lived. Yeah, it's crazy.
Funny how that is, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a new level of celebrityhood. Like when I was competing, I was like, oh, there's that guy. Hey. Now it's like, oh, can I take a picture with you? Yeah. It's kind of a funny jump in this thing. It's like a new...
It's like hard for you to coach even.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's also cool at the same time, you know? Like, and people are always asking me, how do you do this? How do you do this? How did you get the YouTube following and stuff like that? And a lot of it is you, right? You're the guy behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a team effort, right?
You're like Mr. Beast, kind of.
Kinda. You know, anybody who does YouTube always looks to that guy to be like, what is he doing? You know, just seeing because he optimized it, right? He casts the widest net. Like he drives a train into a hole. It's like who doesn't want I want to watch it right now. Yeah, it was an amazing video.
I watch it. Yeah.
It's so addicting. And then we do like a very niche judo technique. It's only going to capture so much of the YouTube audience. Yeah. And then we eventually a lot of our crossover stuff ends up being pretty good. Yeah. Right between the judo and jiu-jitsu or gi and no gi stuff.
Yeah. So what makes a good piece of YouTube content? Maybe not just YouTube, but like Reels also, because that's kind of gaining in popularity. Like I know I spend most of my time just scrolling Reels before I go to bed. You know what I mean?
Well, our most successful Reels start off with like a direct play to the person watching. So I think your most successful short form video is showing Tomoenage to all the BJJ guys. Oh, yeah. And it starts off with you going, you guys already pull guard. And it's like so grabbing. Yeah, and then you show Tomoenage and it's like just in that way where they pull guard, but it's, you can finish the technique. So it's
none of our stuff is scripted, right?
No.
So everything is winged. So it's maybe your editing ability is like, oh, this is exactly where we need to start the video and then this is where we need to cut, right? That kind of stuff plays a major role in it, no?
Yeah. What I end up doing is I'll cut the YouTube video into its full length, and that has a particular timing because people once they're invested, you can have a little bit of dead space, but not a lot. But then when you go into short form, it's like deliver and get the message out. You have 15 seconds max to really say it. Yeah. So I'll look through the video and I'll see, all right, what statement jumps at me? Like, what is the point that leads to the action. And then I'll just cut into that a bunch of times. And
so that's the Reels form.
That's Reels form.
Yeah.
That's
what about
short.
like a longer instruction form?
Longer instruction form, it's all about like creating like a through line.
Yeah.
So like having something that you're looking forward to and also delivering on the way there.
Yeah.
So like taking a look at the back end metrics, everybody loves when you throw Eugene. Like the moment you throw Eugene, everyone is a spike in retention. The second he's on the ground, people leave in droves. Yeah. If I could just show Eugene getting bombed for like 30 minutes, it would be the most viral thing. Except that as we went through the years, my camera gear has improved, my editing quality, so it's just going to be a mess of video formats.
Nice. Interesting. So what is like sort of the next way for us to grow, do you think? Like what is the next path?
So the instructionals have been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And we could definitely do more of those. We've you've been doing a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
So there's a good amount of crossover content that we could do there. But it's interesting. Our audience is so spread out. Like only about a third of our audience is actually in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And then a third is in Europe, and then a third is the rest of the world. So I think maybe like and as far as demographics go, the United States audience pays the best. Yeah. And it's here.
Yeah.
So maybe focusing on growing the sport here, but that's a heavy lift, to really do that. But maybe creating like a full curriculum, but that involves a lot of planning and kind of like meticulous things, or leaning heavier into the entertainment side of it. Maybe, keeping it light.
You use this word infotainment, right?
Infotainment.
That's the thing that you always say?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. But like, you're like, the best thing is, so you're always focused on like the quality of the technique, the proper information. And I'm just focused on like, if no one's watching it, then it doesn't matter the information, because it's like a tree falls in the woods, doesn't make a sound. Yeah. So I'm trying to keep it at least moving and fun. And then I think together we've like gone through the cycle so many times that it's like way easier to produce a high quality piece of content. And then every once in a while we get those like special ones where it really jumps, and that gets a bigger net of so many people. But I'd say like, the instructionals basically doing more long form, concise things and making it both fun and entertaining and useful. Yeah. Because the craziest thing that happens when these visitors come into the dojo is they go, like, you are their sensei in Korea or in like the Middle East or something. And they're like, they take all of your teachings and just redo it. So, if we do like a more comprehensive instruction, then they could actually like take that and just have their textbook, their Bible to go after.
Yeah, that could be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. That's, and you've always mentioned like, the higher ranks in judo up to the 10th dan is really more about contributions to the sport as a whole than personal accolades.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't do judo after a certain age. I mean, you can, but to what extent? You're not out there competing and winning stuff and, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so to leave that legacy, like your dad wrote a bunch of books, and they're very comprehensive and great books, and now everybody's online watching YouTube videos, so it's it's an amazing place to leave that mark and have that reference material. Yeah. So, you've been making YouTube videos now for like 4 or 5 years, like on a consistent basis. Like, do you like it? Do you enjoy making the YouTube videos?
Yeah, I do. There's a little bit of validation factor, right? Like I'm in the dojo, I'm teaching this stuff. And then, it gets pushed to a wider audience and those guys appreciate it. And that's always a nice thing, and then it keeps me sharp too, because it's like, I have to be concise. I have to hit the main points right away, because it's so easy to drove on and do like a 15-minute rambling technique session where no one's really getting anything. And, a quarter of the room is just like immediately like dozing off. That's just like a common problem. Right. So for me to be refining that into a very concise methodology of teaching, it goes hand in hand with YouTube, and at least YouTube, you have the metrics. Right. When you're in the room and you're teaching, and then, you can't really be in tune with every single person in the room as you're teaching it, Yeah. But with YouTube, you do it, you put it online, and you go get the metrics. Oh, shoot, we lost 90% of our people 27 seconds in. I'm just like rambling, right? Yeah. So that's always a nice thing about it. I enjoy it. the celebrity ship kind of that comes along with it. It's kind of nice too. It's nice attention. It's not
fun.
negative attention.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say something and people get pissed off about that. That's like not, right? Like the guy that's mad about my Spanish accent.
Oh,
like, what's up with that?
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
Man, dude, there's always YouTube commenters that are just. I read every comment. It's
really?
a bit, yeah.
I respond to those.
I want to respond. I don't want to respond in your name, so maybe I'll respond on mine.
Yeah, you should.
But man, the online martial arts community is a place.
Oh, definitely. That is definitely a very interesting place.
That is.
Not to get too meta,
Yeah.
but like, let's say you already watched the podcast, you already listened to the podcast as I do it with Peter week after week.
Mm-hmm.
Since Peter's in Korea right now, eating bulgogi and stuff, right? Like you were like, all right, let's do this thing, and now we're doing it, and now we have 3 cameras set up, which is different from our usual, like, I forgot it was, Squadcast or something that we use, or Riverside FM. This setup, right? Like, how do you envision this, and what is it going to be different? Are we now catering more to a YouTube crowd, or like how is this podcast gonna be?
So I could see like
like a vision here.
So it's the integration of talking and the visual of it.
Yeah.
So like people love like reaction videos. So
they do.
and the number one thing that reaches over from international judo is highlights. It's just basically people getting slammed on their head.
Yeah.
So for me the one thing that I found interesting as I got better in judo is as I watched the highlights, I started to be able to predict with much more accuracy who was going to get bombed. Like I can just start from a blank canvas and be like, oh, the guy in blue is about to get it. And then I'd watch it. And I'd watch it like 4 or 5 times and it's like, oh, a big Uchimata, a big Ippon Seinagi. But then I'll screen record it and then slow it down.
Yeah.
And you realize like, oh, this guy's throwing his leg back it's seemingly at random. And you're like, oh, this was actually set up from a mile back in everything you preach, but it doesn't make it, to the highlight reel, which is like, it's like basketball, right? Nobody sees the good pass, they just see the dunk.
Yeah.
So, if we could watch these highlights and then we really go granular and break it down, and that would be fun. That would be
a podcast way?
Yeah, so like we'll watch it together here and then like with the gis on and then go and do it and kind of have that like
that sounds like a fun piece of content.
Yeah, and that grows it out too because it's like you were saying, oh, send me your in the other podcast that was in reference to online stuff, reposting, resharing. So like there's the videos themselves with just like some like redubbed Russian techno track behind it. Yeah. and then there's like excruciating breakdown videos. Yeah. But no meat or faceless like behind, just at their computer breakdown videos, which I maybe I'll take the negative connotation out of it. The more content, the better, right? So the more people are watching, it's amazing. But to have the face, the investment, and the name, all of a sudden it breeds beyond the sport.
But that's a YouTube video, not a podcast, though, right?
It could be both. I mean, like for our channel, like the average video of anything you and Eugene do is 2.5 minutes. Yeah. If I can't get the message out by then, people are gone.
Yeah, for sure.
But for the podcast, the average is about 8 minutes. So the people who go in.
No one listening right now? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. We're 13 minutes in. Yeah. Everyone's checked out.
Well,
say something crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. But with that kind of a format, that cycle, all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're gonna see another highlight. Yeah. Great payoff. Your reaction, another payoff, and then us doing it is like all these repeating things.
Yeah, let's work on that. Let's do that.
I think that can be great. So if you guys have any like highlights that you're like, oh, do this one, do that one, definitely send it. Send it to or put it in the YouTube comments.
So as opposed to like doing something completely new, right? Let's just say we're just having a conversation about, let's say, Osotogari, and it's just a podcast on its own. Do you think you could do it in a way where it just cuts between the cameras? It's much more visually stimulating to make it a little bit more retention stronger?
So you can only squeeze that lemon so much because speaking about a judo technique is...
But you could cut in videos of people doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, the only problem is like...
it triggers copyright?
Yeah, stuff. Then all of a sudden, I like already sometimes I'm having to go around like recording walls and get clips and stuff like that. If it was a bit more readily available,
we could preemptively film some of those sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or actually post-emptively. What is the afterwards?
Yeah. Post-production.
Yeah, post-production.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking about Osoto guys, like, we're talking about high right versus right, extreme, how to set up an Osoto into Tani Toshi. Like, we're talking about this. That's one of the finishes that most people do. And then as we're talking about it, clip in a video of me and Eugene doing it. Like, would that be a lot better of a content as opposed to just me and you talking about it?
It would be a bit more, visually appealing. It would be a little bit more digestible.
Okay.
One of the ideas I had for a while was like just the title, like how to watch judo.
Yeah.
Because I noticed with that same like, hey, it took me a while to even get like who has advantage while watching it. Like I don't think people as easily get the nuance of judo. Because it's like I'll never forget the last year watching the World Cup and being just like stunned. But I was like, oh my God, this sport is so easy. Like ball goes in net, that team wins. Like
more possession time, the better.
That's it. Yeah, it was just like so easy to get. I'm like judo. It's like it's just like it's so many minuscule rules and.
Dude, and even if you're like in dominant position the whole time, I watched a French girl be completely out dominated the whole time, and then she's just like, bad at position attacking, super athletic, super strong. Kind of just did it. I was like, wow. So you just don't really know what you're watching a lot of the times, right?
Yeah.
Because it breaks so many of the rules,
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of funny. Like, I was rewatching your podcast with the guy in Boston. I keep forgetting his name.
Travis?
No,
Jimmy
Pedro.
Yeah.
Amazing interview. Now, especially reflecting since the end of the pandemic to now, like where he's taken that site, the American Judo System, and then like looking at Travis on YouTube, and like he hasn't posted in over a year, and then looking at these other guys in the YouTube sphere. I mean, I'm looking at like eras, right? So Jimmy Pedro, his dad, your dad, like that was like first wave in a way judo in the United States, and then you have like the on the competitive way. Then you have like the Travis Stevens, and then the Kayla, and all these people. That was like another major push and Ronda Rousey to try to like push judo past that threshold of like establishment in the United States. And now, like the way that the international judo like acceptance into the Olympics is set up, it's even harder now to get in from our country. So you're like third wave of like influence into this world. Like there's unless there's this, I guess there's an LA Olympics coming up. Unless that is crazy, it's you. So
that could be crazy. Jackie Nesta is doing really good, And he's an American.
Oh, there'll always be, guys at the top of the chain or whatever, and getting to those stages. But as far as like influence and reach, it's like
maybe we need a couple more of guys like me doing this stuff, right? You have any tips for content creators out there, like what metrics they should be looking at and stuff, and like how does somebody like start creating content in this space?
I mean, so the first thing is like all the like so many martial arts videos out there, like such a vast majority are, I don't say poorly produced, but they're almost like they don't acknowledge that this room is echoey, like a padded room, and there's no camera movement, and it's very shaky, or it's like just increasing the quality of production makes watching it that much better. It's true, and easier. And then it's like just do like not making it a job, like keeping it fun. If it's fun for you, it's fun for me. So I'm gonna stick around and watch it, and then. Like you're always telling me, just doing it, just making it happen. That's because you don't have anything unless you have something.
It's true. So what metrics are you always looking at when you're talking about YouTube and content?
So always like...
Mention drop-off, right? So time when people lose attention. And
so I can only worry about drop-off when it... Like the first one's click-through rate. Does the video catch you at the beginning? Do you even click it?
With the thumbnail,
and the thumbnail. That combination. That's everything. And so if it's very catchy, like there was the one where... it was like no-gi judo takedowns, and it was you and Eugene, and you have Eugene in this like headlock, and and you just looked right at the camera, and the thing caught it perfectly in focus. I was like, oh, that's it, it's done, and that thing has like 150,000 views, and it's great, And beyond that, it's like the same 5 basic judo throw things. The second they see you, they're sticking around, they're listening. So. beyond that, it's like, get to the point, get to it faster. Just don't be afraid to cut out anything and everything that's slowing it down.
Interesting.
Like my best litmus test is I'll just like watch it and just be myself. And if I zone out and start going on my phone, I'm like, I gotta cut this.
Yeah.
Because like if I don't care,
that's true. Yeah. You're a judo guy in the judo world.
I'm making the videos and I'm zoning out. If that happens, I can't.
Yeah, it's gotta be fast jump cuts. Jump cuts is very unique to YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the easiest thing.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching and listening.
We're losing cameras left and right. Yeah, nothing's perfect.
All right, so reach out to Greg. He's on Instagram, GReagan13.
One.
Oh, GReagan1. Sorry, on Instagram.
It's okay.
And, ask him questions. Reach out. That's what he's doing this for a living now. YouTube stuff, content creation stuff, video editing, all this stuff. So, if you have an interesting proposition, he's $8,000 an hour, but,
That's my base.
Yeah. You can reach out to him and then ask him all the questions you want. Okay, will he respond? Maybe not. Who knows, right? But if you have a good proposition, he'll probably listen. And, he's the man behind the camera, the ideas man. So, Greg, thank you for being here.
You got it.
And let me know what you guys think about this form. And then Greg will read it, not me.
Us.
All right, that's it. We got 2 podcast episodes. What do you think, Eugene? That was pretty good.
Yeah.
What's next, man? What do you think?
More content?
More content is more content.
More content.